Hi everyone, welcome to this channel and thanks for your love and support. In this video, today we will discuss how to debug remotely Azure Function Apps. What Azure Function App is? It's a platform, serverless platform provided by Microsoft Azure. Just like AWS Lambda, we in AWS we have AWS Lambda. In Google also provide its own serverless platform. Just like that, Microsoft provides Azure serverless, Azure function apps. I'll just show you how to create the function app. I will really try to focus on debugging part. I will not create any function app from scratch. Uh, I will just show you how exactly you need to create it. So you just need to go to the resource group. Just create the resources I have already created before. So you just need to create one resource over here. If we'll go over here, you will create one resource. Just type it over here like function app. Once it shows, you can create one function app. You can create a Linux based function app. You can create a Windows based function apps as well, or you can deploy it in any kind of preferenced location. I've already created one function app over here. I'll just show you. So this one is my function app. So let me tell you why exactly we need to remote debug. Uh, in this channel, we really try to focus on the production level issues we face in the real-time environment so that your life will be little bit easier. So I'll share you why exactly we need to remote debug. Sometimes your code will work in the local environment, but when you will deploy it to the dev environment, to the prod level environment or UAT level environment, the code might not work. Sometimes function in the function app you will be fetching some files uh, from the blob storage, or you will be sending some email by using SendGrid. You might have some errors. Sometimes you will be getting from the queue storage, like service bus queues as well. Sometimes you will get errors, sometimes you will get exceptions as well. So once you will get those exceptions or errors, or your function app fails in the prod level environment, you really don't want to come up to the local environment and again check over here and again try to deploy it to the prod level environment without knowing the root cause. It will be a time consuming task and it will be little bit tedious task. So better you just try to debug it remotely from your local environment by pointing to the specific level of environment like development or production. You just go through the particular exception or error, whatever the why the function app is failing. Then you can come back to the local environment and you can check whether you can rectify it or not. So that will be the better options, what we actually do in our real-time scenario. So couple of things you need to remember before you try to remote debug. Once the function app has been created in the portal, you can create it from the portal, or you can actually have an ARM template over there, or you can actually create one function app. You just need to go to this configuration. There will be a general setting over there. I'll just show you. Here you can go to this general setting. Now you just need to go to this debugging part and you need to just turn it on. By default it will be turned off like this. You just need to turn it on and you need to choose the Visual Studio version. We till now we have only two versions, like 2017 and 2019. I have 2019 installed in my PC or local laptop, local PC. You can actually connect with those things. So once this thing got completed, you just need to save it so that we can actually go for the remote debugging. Now, once those things got completed, I'll show you one different thing. You can go to Visual Studio, go to Tools, go to Get Tools and Features. Whether you can go over here, or you can go to Visual Studio Installer in the start bar. Just type it Visual Studio Installer, just click it, and try to install the Azure Development Extension tools. I'll just show you how exactly it will look. Uh, it's actually loading. Just let's wait. I hope my internet connection will work properly. Let's wait for some time. Yes, it came. You just need to tick it and you just need to install it. Whether you can install while downloading or you can download all then install. So I have already installed it. So by default, whenever you are installing these tools, there will be a package known as Azure Storage Emulator will come. So those packages will be automatically installed in your Windows machine or your local machine. If not, then you have to go to the Microsoft site and you just need to install the storage emulator. Once the storage emulator will be installed, you can go to this command prompt and you can actually type this thing Azure Storage Emulator.exe, then try to start it. Okay, I'll just show you. Actually, why I'm actually showing this thing, because it will actually show me some errors. I'll just want to show you these things to you so that you will not going to face any issues at the time of installation. So see here it is showing me that unable to start your emulator. So what this emulator exactly do? It actually provides a virtual simulation kind of thing. So more Azure function will definitely connect to the blob storage, queue storage or table storage. So this emulator actually provides a virtual instances of the storage in your local machine. So there will be a port mapping and by default it's like 1000, 1001, 1002. There will be the port mapping to the blob storage, queue storage and table storage. You just need to follow the documentation of Microsoft. So my port has already been connected to some other things. So if I will go over here, I'll just write one statement. See, my port 10,000 is being listening with respect to this PID. So I need to kill this PID. I'll try to kill it. Now in PID number, I'll type 08052. So let's wait. Okay, now access is being denied because I am not using command prompt in admin mode. I'll try to use the command prompt, run as admin. You can't actually see these things because I'm using multiple monitor. So once this will be done, I will show you. Yes, now I will go over here. I'll write it A052. Then let's see. Now the process got terminated. Right. Now if I'll go over here, I'll just type it like uh, Azure Storage Emulator.exe space start. Let's see if it's actually creating one instance or not. Yes, my storage emulator got started. It is actually showing me in my first monitor. It got started. So here also you can show that the storage emulator got successfully started. This thing, remember, these things are very important while remote debugging. Otherwise, it will not remote debug. So once this thing gets done, you can just minimize it and you can come over here. I will show you what needs to be followed for the remote debugging. Now I have already created one remote debug application over here for the function app. You can actually publish it directly manually or you can create your CI/CD pipeline. If you don't know how to create CI/CD pipeline, I have already created one video before. I have created it in .NET Core Web API how to build CI and CD pipelines. You can watch and you can try for doing it for Azure Function. If you find any difficulties, you can actually comment and I'll create one CI/CD pipeline for Azure Functions as well. I will create that videos. So right now I will try to publish it manually. You can just right click over here, just go to this publish, and remember one thing. Remember, it is very important. Remember, you have to set this configuration as debug if you want really to make remote debugging. So you need to deploy it as debug version. So I'm just clicking over here. I will write the debug and I will save it. Once this thing gets saved, so what exactly it will show you, I'll show you. It will actually show you in this way. You just need to start it. Just go to this Azure. As I have my function up in Azure, if you are actually pointing to the Docker container register, you can go for that one. You can go for your publish folder as well. I am just directly moving to the Azure. And my function app is a Windows based function app, so I will choose Windows over here. I'll click on next. Once this will be done, it will actually show you all those resource groups and function apps automatically. If it won't, then you can search it over here. Mine is actually showing me over here. I will click it and I will finish it. So once this thing gets done, you can go to this configuration. And now remember, you need to change it to debug mode. Otherwise, this thing will not going to work. So you need to change it to the debug mode. Just save it and publish it. So why I am actually doing it in this way, I'll just show you the Azure portal. I've already deployed my function over here for to show you. So your app is currently in read-only mode because you are running functions from a package file. What it exactly means, if I'll go to my function, if I'll go to code plus test, you will never going to see any code over here. So you will never going to assume that whether this line numbers code is giving me exception or that line number code is giving me error. So it will only show you the function.json file and that's it. There is no possibility that you can actually debug it from here. So you can go to the Visual Studio over here. For that reason only, we are trying to debug it from Visual Studio. Or there is some specific other things I will discuss it in next couple of videos. I'll just show you one thing over here. So how to do it from Visual Studio. There are a couple of things we can actually create a API and it will point it there and we can debug it and I will discuss it later in later videos. So now it created one zip file and it pointed to the and deployed it to the web app. Now what you need to do, if you have already installed the Azure tools, you can go to view, you can go to this Cloud Explorer. Once you will go to this Cloud Explorer, it will actually you need to give your Azure function Azure credential. It will give you all the web apps and all the Azure functions and whatever you have in your Azure portal. So let's wait, it will load. And remember, this is little bit time consuming because actually we are pointing to the remote branch. So we are pointing to the remote server. So it is little bit time consuming. So you need to bear with those things. But it will definitely help you a lot. I'm sure that it will definitely help you a lot. Now it will show you everything over here. I have my subscription over free trial subscription right now. If I'll go, there is app service plans, there is app service, application insights, key vaults, everything is there. Like we already have storage accounts as well over here. If I will go, I already have a default storage account, so it is showing me over here. Now my Azure function is app service based Azure function. So if I will go over here, I can actually see my Azure functions. See, I have three web app for the web for the dev, prod, and QA CI/CD pipeline. I have created those web app. Now, if I will go to this remote debug, so this one is my function app. I just need to click over here. So here, see, it will actually show you four things. One is attached debugger, one is download publish profile. I'll just download this publish profile and I will show you what exactly it does. It will provide you the username and password to connect with this remote debug. It will actually provide you. If I'll go to this publish profile, see, this one is my published profile page, profile file. So here it is actually giving me the username as well as the password. Sometimes due to firewall issue, we need to give the username and password manually, but most of the cases, uh, Visual Studio will figure it out. So don't worry about it. So if you really want to attach a debugger to the remote environment, you just need to click on this attach debugger. So it is time consuming. So bear with me. I'll show you how exactly it will be done. We will wait. What exactly it is doing is it is fetching the API point as the web point as well as the port number. Then it will create a connection from the Visual Studio to the remote server. Now it is pointing to the remote server. It is not pointing to our local server. It is pointing to the remote server. Now it is attaching the debugger. We will wait for some time. Now the debugger got attached. I will go over here. I'll create a function app. I already have a function. I already have a debugger over here. See, now my function app is running already. I have already created the debugger and the function app is already running. I'll just go to my Azure function over here. I'll get the URL. This one will be my URL. Now in function I have already written, I'll show you. In function I have already written to check if there is a query parameter known as name. I will get the value. If there is no query parameter, I will collect the value from the request body and it will show you hello name. This HTTP triggered function executed successfully. So if I will pass it name as Anshuman, it will show you hello Anshuman. This HTTP triggered function executed successfully. Remember, we are actually pointing to the remote server over here. See, this is not my local host. This is pointing to the remote server. I'll hit enter and we will see if it is going to the remote debug or not. We'll wait for some time. It will connect to the remote debug. So for that, it will take little bit of time. So you need to have some patience. Now see, uh, it actually came back to my Visual Studio over here, but it is actually pointing to the remote debugger. Remember, over here, I have already created it and I am pointing to the remote server, not to the local server, but still it came to the Visual Studio right now. If I will press F10, we will see if it's actually working perfectly or not. I'm pressing my F10 button. Ideally, it should give us a name as Anshuman. We will see if we get the name as Anshuman or not. Now, if I will hover it to this name, my cursor is pointing to the name, and see here it is actually giving me Anshuman as a result. Uh, it came from the web browser. It pointed to the remote server and it's showing me Anshuman. It's not the local host. So I will press F5 so that it will go back. Now it is going back. If I will go over here, we will definitely see that hello Anshuman. This HTTP triggered successfully. Okay, it didn't go. I just forget to press F5. Now I have pressed my F5 button. Now we will go to my web browser. Now see, hello Anshuman, this HTTP triggered function executed successfully. Now the same thing I want to show you in the local host. What will be the difference? I'll just stop it. In this way, you can actually create your own debugging points in the remote server if the code is actually similar to the local environment. You need to remember that your code you have already deployed it to your production level environment or dev level environment. You just need to point